Good evening. Tonight, we're diving into a topic that sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry on a spreadsheet: pharmaceutical data integrity. But stick with me, because this is monumentally important. Hiding or concealing data integrity observations in the pharmaceutical industry isn't just some nerdy clerical error, like accidentally CECing your boss on an email complaining about them. No, this is the corporate equivalent of seeing a "warning may contain bees" sign, painting over it, and then selling the box to someone with a severe bee allergy. The consequences are severe, far-reaching, and frankly terrifying for companies, patients, and the entire healthcare system we all depend on. It's a systemic poison that undermines the very foundation of modern medicine. And if you think this is just me being dramatic, which, to be fair, is my brand, you should know that the big players in global health regulation feel exactly the same way. Regulatory agencies like the FDA in the United States, the EMA in Europe, and the World Health Organization treat data integrity violations with the same seriousness as finding a rat doing Sudoku in the clean room. These aren't just slaps on the wrist. We're talking about actions that can cripple a company and, more importantly, protect millions of people from drugs that might be ineffective, contaminated, or downright dangerous. So, let's pull back the curtain on the fallout from Pharma's hidden data scandals. Because what you don't know can, in this case, very much hurt you. So, what happens when a pharmaceutical company gets caught with its hand in the digital cookie jar? Well, one of the first things to arrive is a special delivery from the FDA. And it's not an edible arrangement. It's a warning letter. Think of it as the regulatory equivalent of your parents saying, "We're not mad, just deeply, deeply disappointed," but with the added bonus that it's posted online for the entire world to see. These letters are public documents, a permanent stain on a company's reputation, meticulously citing every failure in their data integrity controls. It's like having your worst performance review stapled to your forehead for all your competitors, investors, and customers to read. And they often read like a horror story, detailing everything from deleted test results to backdated records. But it gets worse. If the FDA thinks you're not just being careless, but are actively trying to sell dodgy products to Americans, they can issue something called an import alert. This is the regulatory bouncer at the club door of the entire United States market. It effectively says, "You're not on the list. In fact, we've burned the list and salted the earth where the list used to be." An import alert bans a company's products from being sold in one of the largest and most lucrative markets in the world. Suddenly, all those pills you made based on data you may or may not have, let's say creatively curated, are now stuck in a warehouse, gathering dust and costing you a spectacular amount of money. It's a brutal, immediate, and financially devastating consequence. If a warning letter is a shot across the bow, the next steps are a full-on broadside. Regulatory agencies have the power to suspend a company's manufacturing operations entirely. An inspector can literally walk into your multi-million-dollar facility, look around at the rampant data manipulation and say, "Right, everyone out. Turn off the lights on your way." This isn't a temporary shutdown for a holiday. It's a complete halt to production until the company can prove, to the agency's satisfaction, that they have fixed every single systemic issue. The financial bleeding is immediate and catastrophic. You're paying for the factory, the staff, the utilities, but not a single pill is rolling off the line. It's the business equivalent of being put in a medically induced coma. And what about all the products you already shipped out? The ones made while your lab was playing fast and loose with the numbers? That's where product recalls come in. Regulators can mandate that you recall every single batch that might be affected. This is a logistical and financial nightmare of epic proportions. You have to track down your product from distributors, pharmacies, and even patients' medicine cabinets. The cost of the recall itself is immense, but the real damage is to your reputation. Nothing says "we messed up badly" quite like a nationwide announcement telling people that the medicine they rely on might not be safe. It's a public admission of failure that poisons the well of public trust, possibly forever. Let's talk more about those import alerts, because their impact is so profound it deserves its own chapter. Blocking a company's products from entering a major market isn't just a temporary setback, it can be a corporate death sentence. The United States and the European Union are, by a massive margin, the two most profitable pharmaceutical markets on the planet. Gaining access to them is the primary goal of almost every drug manufacturer in the world. It takes years of research, billions in investment, and mountains of paperwork to get a drug approved. To then have that access revoked because you couldn't be bothered to ensure your data was accurate is an act of corporate self-sabotage that is genuinely breathtaking. Imagine spending a decade building a beautiful, intricate ship only to steer it directly into a giant rock labeled easily avoidable data fraud. This loss of market access is a brutal, direct consequence. Your revenue stream from that market dries up overnight. Your entire business model might have been predicated on selling to the United States, and now that door is slammed, locked, and barricaded. And it's not just one product. Often an import alert can apply to an entire manufacturing site, meaning everything you produce there is now banned. It's a devastating blow that can send shockwaves through your entire company, leading to layoffs, canceled projects, and a stock price that plummets faster than a cartoon anvil. So, your factory has been shut down, your products are banned, and your reputation is in tatters. What's next? Well, regulators don't just trust you to fix things on your own. After all, you're the ones who messed up so badly in the first place. That's like asking a toddler who drew on the walls with crayons to be in charge of redecorating the living room. Instead, they impose one of the most galling and expensive punishments: third-party oversight requirements. This means you are forced, at your own expense, to hire a team of external consultants and auditors, approved by the regulator, to essentially live in your company and watch your every move. These consultants are not your friends. They are your new, incredibly expensive, legally mandated babysitters. Their job is to comb through every aspect of your operations, from your data systems to your training protocols, and report everything back to the FDA or EMA. This creates a massive financial burden. These top-tier consultants charge astronomical fees, and you're footing the entire bill. But beyond the cost, it's a humiliating loss of autonomy. Your own management is sidelined, forced to defer to outsiders who now hold the keys to your company's future. You have to pay a fortune for the privilege of being told how to do your job by people whose very presence is a constant reminder of your catastrophic failure. But let's be very clear about the most important impact of all: what this does to the drugs themselves. Data integrity isn't some abstract bureaucratic concept. It is the bedrock upon which drug quality is built. The data from lab tests is what tells you if a pill has the right amount of active ingredient, if it's free from harmful impurities, or if it will dissolve properly in the body. When that data is falsified, deleted, or manipulated, you no longer have any idea what you are actually making. Every pill that leaves that factory becomes a gamble. This directly and dangerously compromises drug quality. A patient might be getting a medication that is subpotent, meaning it won't effectively treat their life-threatening condition. A chemotherapy drug might not be strong enough to fight cancer, or an antibiotic might not be able to stop an infection. Worse, the drug could be superpotent or contaminated with harmful substances, leading to toxic side effects or even death. This isn't a hypothetical. This has happened. Falsifying data means you are essentially playing Russian roulette, not with your own life, but with the lives of thousands of trusting patients who believe the medicine they are taking is safe and effective. It is the ultimate betrayal of the social contract between a pharmaceutical company and the public. In business, you can lose money and make it back. You can recall a product and launch a new one. But there is one asset that, once lost, is almost impossible to fully recover: trust. When a pharmaceutical company is caught systematically violating data integrity, it doesn't just lose the trust of regulators. It loses the trust of doctors, pharmacists, investors, and most critically, patients. This isn't like a PR gaffe where you can issue a heartfelt apology and promise to do better. This is a fundamental breach of your core responsibility, which is to produce safe medicine based on verifiable science. Recovering from this is a long, arduous, and uncertain journey. It requires a level of radical transparency that most corporations find deeply uncomfortable. It means opening your books, admitting the full scope of your failures, and implementing sweeping, verifiable corrective actions. You have to prove over and over again, through years of flawless execution and intense scrutiny, that you have fundamentally changed your culture. Even then, the stain remains. Regulators will forever view you with suspicion. Doctors will hesitate to prescribe your products. And patients, who now have the internet at their fingertips, will remember that you were the company that couldn't be trusted with the basic facts. This loss of trust is an intangible but devastatingly powerful consequence. You might think that after the fines, the recalls, and the public shaming, regulators might eventually ease up. You would be spectacularly wrong. A significant data integrity violation puts your company on a regulatory watch list for years, if not permanently. The result is a dramatic and sustained increase in regulatory scrutiny. Before the violation, you might have had a routine inspection every couple of years. Now, you can expect regulators to become your new pen pals, your roommates, and your least favorite dinner guests, all rolled into one. They will be visiting your facilities far more frequently, and these will not be friendly check-ins. These inspections will be more intense, more rigorous, and more adversarial than anything you've experienced before. Every single record will be examined with a fine-tooth comb. Every employee will be interviewed. Every process will be challenged. The regulators are no longer there to verify compliance. They are there to actively hunt for non-compliance, because you have proven you cannot be trusted to police yourself. This constant, heightened enforcement is incredibly disruptive to business. It consumes enormous amounts of employee time and resources, creates a climate of constant pressure and anxiety, and slows down every aspect of your operation. You are now guilty until proven innocent, and you will have to prove your innocence every single day. Finally, let's talk about the big picture, the lasting, permanent reputational damage. In the digital age, nothing is ever truly forgotten. A major data integrity scandal becomes part of your company's permanent record, an indelible mark on its history that will be cited in news articles, investment reports, and Wikipedia entries for decades to come. This isn't just about bad press that fades over a news cycle. This is a fundamental blow to your corporate identity. You become that company that faked its data, a label that is incredibly difficult to shake. This reputational harm has a cascading effect on every aspect of your business. Future business partnerships become harder to secure. Why would another reputable company want to tie its brand to yours? Attracting and retaining top talent becomes a challenge. The best scientists and managers want to work for companies known for their integrity, not for their warning letters. Your relationships with regulators will be forever colored by your past transgressions, making future drug approvals more difficult and time-consuming. It's a vicious cycle. The reputational damage makes it harder to do business, which in turn hurts your bottom line and makes it more difficult to invest in the very improvements needed to fix your reputation. It is a long, slow, and painful decline, all stemming from the decision to cut corners on the truth. So, after all that, the takeaway is starkly simple. In the pharmaceutical industry, data integrity is not a guideline, a best practice, or a friendly suggestion. It is a fundamental, non-negotiable pillar of the entire enterprise. It is the absolute baseline. To compromise on it is to compromise on everything: patient safety, product quality, and the scientific principles that are supposed to govern medicine. The very idea that a company would risk so much, its market access, its reputation, its very existence, by fudging the numbers is, frankly, insane. And yet, as we've seen, it happens. And the consequences are, and should be, devastating. It's crucial to understand that the fallout from these violations extends far beyond regulatory fines or a temporary dip in stock price. These are not just costs of doing business. The consequences ripple outwards, impacting the health of patients who receive compromised drugs, eroding the public's trust in the healthcare system as a whole, and threatening the long-term business viability of the offending company. A company that loses its integrity has lost its most valuable asset, and the road back is long, expensive, and sometimes impossible. The message from regulators and the public must be unequivocal. There are no shortcuts when it comes to people's health. Ultimately, the entire system relies on a simple premise: that the data is real, the tests are accurate, and the medicine is what it claims to be. When that premise is broken, the whole edifice crumbles. That's why the response to these violations has to be severe. It's not about punishing for punishment's sake. It's about protecting a system we all depend on. It's about ensuring that when you take a pill, you can be confident it's the result of rigorous science, not convenient fiction. Because in the world of medicine, the truth isn't just important. It's the only thing that matters. Thank you and good night.